below the range lows, or go for anything lower than 61 or 60.5 max. That's still my intraday bias. We could do that sometime later, but for now, I think considering the kind of shake off we have gotten after this initial bounce and all the leverage longs, the FOMO longs that have puked ever since, I think we are getting closer to a bottom, right? And this is why I am in a few longs, including MRK, MKR, and BTC. I am only in 50%. MKR gave me decent fills, BTC still has not. And when I look at this price action so far, and if you people have watched the previous streams, whenever you get this curling down price action, we have talked about this earlier, uh, right, where every time prices continuously making lower highs and just curling down. I think unless we break above 63.5, there's a good chance that we get some final shake off. Just, I know these lows seem to me a bit weird. So what I am expecting is that if we are not able to break 63.5, we get a final quick impulsive kind of a sell off into 61, 60.8, 60.5. We'll see. But that's where I have remaining 50% of my orders scaled in, and I think that would be a good looking bottom structure. So overall, I'd say that short term my bias is bullish. I am betting on some Tuesday, even though Tuesday is about to end. But I still think overall my bias still remains the same, which is Tuesday, Wednesday relief after this Monday, shake off of the top longs. So I think this plays out in this way most probably. If not, even if we break out from here, I think we have decent exposure with BTC and MKR, and with the RNDR spot challenge buy. So yeah, that's overall my plan. I still don't think that this would be like the absolute bottom for the next leg up on the market. My higher time frame bias, which is that we'd be having some good ranging chopping price action for the week, still remains the same. So the way to play this is just to play the extremes, right? If you people have remember, I've been warning people, and even we tried a shot around these levels, even though we didn't held it down till the bottom. But this is what I have been waiting for, right? To just play this range. We bought spot at this nuke, waited for this move down back to the range lows, and now this is where I am a buyer back again on intraday. So yeah, this is what I'm looking like. For example, all the longs and intraday exposure I scaled into today, I am not looking to ride it into as a absolute bottom entry to new highs. What I am looking for is, once we form a bottom here, anything closer to 65 up till 67 is take profit zone for me, right? That's where I'd be looking to take profits and then see what market gives us. So that's overall kind of my bias on intraday. Higher time frame, I think higher time frame bottom is very very close. Whether we sweep or not, that's something that we'll see. But higher time frame bias remains the same. That I'd continue holding my spot bias, and but on intraday we have to be really picky on which places we trade in. Uh, What spot you recommend me to add for short term? Have Sol, INJ, FET. Would you not, like, I personally not fudding anyone out of their FET bag, but especially after this ASS stuff and all, I'd rather go with. But I remember you used to be a RNDR bag holder, no? So maybe a bit of RNDR exposure for the AI narrative. But apart from that, I think you could look for some meme exposure. To be honest, especially something like, what's sad about it. You still like, you don't need to look at how much up it is from the past. You just need to look at what's the what kind of coins are still in the strong uptrend and would give you the the strongest returns in the coming months. But yeah, I think in the meme exposures is something that you could look on, right? Since you have L1 exposure, you have AI exposure, then probably I'm still not a fan of, and we talked about this Floki, Pepe versus Dodge versus Whiff discussion. I think if I had to make a bet on meme exposure, I'd only go with Whiff and Dodge for now, to be honest. So yeah, Whiff and Dodge would be my top meme picks. The reason being, and we went over that yesterday, that for example, MKR still looks great, to be honest. Just look at like MKR, I think looks better than 99.9% on the alts right now, on from the alts on the market right now. But yeah, let's come back to the mm, Pepe versus, let's say, Whiff discussion, right? By the way, who is buying Pepe here? Why did Pepe give like a 10% squeeze up right now? I never saw that Pepe actually retested these listing highs. Okay, so which chart should we look on? Mm, let's look at Nixie. Okay, so the point being that if you are buying a meme coin, right, then I'm not saying that, you know, when the meme narrative comes again, Whiff would go up and Pepe would actually go down, right? That's not why I'm recommending Whiff or Dodge over something like Pepe. The reason being is that when I want to buy Pepe, the thing that is in my mind is that I want to get a meme exposure, right? And when I want to do that, why people usually choose something like Pepe over Whiff is they think that Pepe Whiff is already up a lot and hasn't given a decent pullback to buy, while Pepe is down way more and, you know, is rather a better buying opportunity, right? That's usually what goes into the mind of the people. On the other hand, my personal like, even though I agree that Pepe is retesting a major level here and probably it bottoms here too, but when I compared these two high time frame trends, right, like for example, just let go about your personal buying, right? If I ask you that which has the possibility, you just observe these two trends, right, the whiff trend right now, right, like whiff literally didn't even make any single high time frame low on high time frame on daily, right? Like when you zoom out on daily, it seems like something that's still super bullish, right? Even though it has taken a hit in past days, but just look at its daily trend, right? While you have something that literally looks like this, right? Just look at the trajectory of the sell off on Pepe. So if I have to make a guess on which runs stronger into price discovery, right? Because in my opinion, in coming time, if you're especially looking for some, you know, short term gratification, like something to buy for a month or two, like for example, a lot of people are bullish on meme coins going into May. So if you have a 1 month of span of time on buying anything, what would you buy that, you know, that looks like this going into price discovery, or Pepe that might not even go back to the price discovery, right? It might just you know, it might bottom here, takes out these highs, but just ranges, chops, I don't know. But if I have to make a bet on something that runs strong once again into price discovery, I'd rather do that on Whiff compared to Pepe, just based on the way these structures look, to be honest. No, Jack, that's literally the wrong mindset that people have, right? That Pepe has given a decent pullback while Whiff hasn't, so I'll buy Pepe. You have to see that the reason Whiff hasn't given it as much of a pullback and doesn't look as much bad as Pepe does is because they are actually buyers that are not letting the price go down, right? That are not letting the trend break down. While you don't see something like that on Pepe, so it's always it's the wrongest mindset people usually have is lower the price, better the buy, right? Which is actually completely wrong. In my opinion, if the market is down and the stuff that's still holding well is the stuff you should actually be buying, right? Um, Okay. I tried to tell my current bias on the market. Now, before we move on to any further charts, as usual, you know, I'd love to know from you people what do you think about the market. Anything you want to ask in general, not like chart or alts request right now. We'll move on to that part a bit later. But anything about market or coming days or anything you how you are positioned right now or how you are planning on positioning for coming days or coming weeks or coming months, let's say. uh Wait, what? Bybit doesn't have WIF? Wasn't Bybit the first exchange to list WIF, like the first major exchange? You're in UK, right? I don't know why this is like there's a weird stuff with people in UK that they don't get some like mainstream coins listing. Like I remember Dan tagging me that he doesn't have ENA in his Binance list. Yeah, even though like Binance got it listed on the first day, but I remember. Yeah, 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 yeah. You are right. In fact, yes, Bybit doesn't have WIF spot. So yeah, it's not something that is to use specific jack. Yeah, I remember someone posting on Twitter on how Bybit still hasn't listed WIF spot. So yeah, you are right. I feel before we go up, market gives quick 1 to 2% up and back down, up and back down. That's funny way of saying it, but that's literally what market has been doing, no? So all these bounces, right? 1 to 3% bounces are continuously getting retraced back, and that is why I think this all ends with just a quick sell off into 61, 60.8, 60.5, and that's where we bottom for a move up. Yeah, I am trying my best to be honest, and so far playing well. Like we haven't taken any loss. We are trying catching bottoms, moving stops up because the reason being that I have a strong conviction of the bottom being in closer to these levels, and I don't want to miss a BTC, especially a BTC long opportunity, because I do believe dominance continues to trend for short term, and having BTC exposure in your portfolio would matter a lot for you to not lose your mind over alts not moving in coming days. So this is why I'm really focused on getting good size BTC exposure. That is why I'm just taking in every possibility that market is giving to scale in. Um, can you look at RNDR still? Who reacted like 10, 10 reacts on RNDR? Um, so yeah, overall RNDR looks good. The reason I bought RNDR was that it's still holding pretty well. Um, above the spot listing highs and above this 3 day demand, and it's one of the better looking alts in the market, I'd say. Like for example, there are two kinds of alts right now in the market. In fact, I'd say three kind of alts in the market. So one kind is that puked like this, right? Like they all puke like this, right? But when we talk about recovery, one type is that broke the structure, showed insane strength initially, but then did something like this and is puking back down, right? And example could be something like uh maybe Sol. I think Sol would be something like this. Yeah, right? So even though it didn't break structure, but it did initially give a strong buyback and is puking back down, right? While then you have another structure on the market. Where was in what chart was I drawing structures? Yeah, then another kind of alts that you have in the market, which is very few, and MKR is one of the very few, is that they puked in this manner, but they gave a strong buyback and they are still holding well above the structure break, right? That's like the second kind of structure on the alts right now. And when you look at the MKR structure, for example, it's one of the very few alts that's still holding well, similar to the structure. So just look at MKR, right? So this was the puke. This was the break of structure, and it's still one of the few alts holding pretty strong above the structure break. And the third type is, which most of the people should really avoid, is that the alts that didn't even break the structure from the bounce, right? They are just doing something like this. So the best ones to bid right now are something like this, right? And I do think, like, even though RNDR isn't like perfectly holding above the structure break, but it still is better looking than compared to a lot of other stuff. Dodge could be. I'm also like, along, if my BTC plan plays out, I think the way some of the meme coins have started showing some bids, I think as long as I do like this 12-hour chart a lot, right? I think as long as Dodge continues to hold above 15 cents, it looks good for a move into this 12-hour imbalance, which is like 17, 18 cents. I'm not personally taking this on intraday leverage because I have a good size spot bag on Dodge, so I'm not just looking to, overtrade Dodge or overexpose myself on leverage. But yeah, Dodge looks good as long as our BTC plan plays out. You still see alts further bleeding. Short term, no. Short term, I think that was a lot of bleeding that you saw, right? And I think we were pretty much on point on expecting alts bleeds, like literally from the pico top from 56, 57. Sorry, why did I say 56? 66, 67. But now I think on short term it should be ending. Like we have already seen like anything between 10 to 25% alt bleed since the Saturday Sunday buyback. Now what I think is that short term relief, Tuesday Wednesday relief, push back into 65, 67, and then continue the range and alt start to bleed once again. Even though the plan is this week would be entire full of range and pain, but right now I expect some short term relief on some stuff. Never joined the stream before, really clear. Okay, that's good. uh so you holding MKR just in case you are wrong with the sweep, right? What do you mean by that? Wrong with the sweep? What do you think about ASI instead of 50 age? To be honest, I can't say much about it because I personally was never an investor in any three of the coins. So I personally never, um, I haven't researched much on how things would unfold with this ASI thing. So can't say much, to be honest. uh, so you are holding MKR just in case you wrong, or you are looking to close today. Yeah, so MKR, like any of my short-term exposure, like MKR is an intraday exposure, RNDR is an intraday exposure. If my BTC plan invalidates, then there makes no sense that I continue holding any sort of short-term or long exposure, right? So yeah, like my main bias is on BTC. My main bias isn't on MKR or RNDR, right? I just took MKR and RNDR as a beta to my BTC bias. Obviously, if I'm wrong on BTC and we begin to lose range lows, then I'd run fast from the market and then just see what comes next. Um, no, what you are saying, because you say you are leverage long MKR, but also expecting a last sweep. So you are worried about this sweep? I don't think there's much to be worried about. Like, even if BTC goes to 60.8 ish something, MK still looks pretty fine, to be honest. I have my invalidation below 2850, which is like way too far away. It's a low leverage play, and the way it's holding, I don't think it even gets affected by the BTC final sweep down. And I'm not talking sweep and a move down is different, right? Like there are no lows below that I expect to be swept. Like I'm not expecting this sweep. What I'm just expecting is just a quick puke down and then back up. But yeah, the plan is this, but I don't think MKR gets affected with that. Yes, I'll close MKR if we start to do something like this. Like if this isn't a quick buyback, and if we in fact keep on grinding and slow bleeding towards the lows, then probably I'd be out because in my bullish bias, I don't see the sweep to be happening. If that happens, and especially in a slow bleed manner, then there is a possibility that market gets ready for another cascade down. Then that's the place where literally run away from the market short term. So, uh, aren't you considering getting R India for spot? I got plenty. To be honest, if I wasn't already as much exposed to my spot packs as I am right now, then yes, I would have considered buying R India. Um, so yeah, in conclusion, R India is a good choice to have some spot exposure. Uh, Context. So I bought TIA at lows, a 9.43 targeting that quickly reaches 11 at the next PTC push. Today I sold at 10.5 for some profits. The question is, TIA still seems extremely strong. How could we move accurately target my exit, and what indicate that TI will move against PTC today? There's nothing that indicates with the surety that any alt would move the way you are saying, but let's look at TIA. Wow, why haven't I been looking at TIA lately? The only issue with entering like you are talking about taking intraday TIA position, right? As far as I can guess from what you asked. And the issue to that is that if I am taking a long here, I am trying to be long a little below the first major level that TIA has to flip to confirm this bottom, right? And that's pretty much the level that we tried to break above, formed this wick, and got sold off hard, right? Like, for example, if I long TIA here and I'd just be aiming for like 4 to 5% max as my first target and would still need to have like at least a 10-12% invalidation, so the risk to return isn't too much. But I do agree with you that TIA is one of the stronger alts lately. Maybe also because I saw Impulse sharing some TIA airdrops, a TIA holder getting some airdrops lately, right? So probably that the TIA airdrop bids that we used to see when it used to trade around 15-20 gets back. That's one of the reason that it's showing a lot of strength. People holding it on spot to claim the airdrops. Um, so yeah, I think I'd rather wait for this flip, to be honest. Uh, do you have any exposure to anything on chain? No, not currently. Would it be normal to grind down into halving? What's the exact date on the halving? I think it's just few days left, right? Either you are like asking this intentionally, because I think I have answered this question maybe even to you like 100 times. Just stop asking this leverage question every single stream. Um, what you sip in, you sound refreshing. It's black coffee, iced americano. So yeah, it's pretty much what I am having every single stream. Um, this Friday, Saturday would be interesting, to be honest. Uh, so yeah, I think having moved down. How much of a move down do we need now, man? Like we have gotten one of the biggest wipe off from total market cap in 2 days. One of the strongest OI wipeouts from BTC. Alts nuked 70%. I don't know, man. Like, how much lower could you keep on expecting? Uh, Black iced coffee. Yeah, like what's so surprising in that? Uh, you are in Dubai? No, I'm not. I am from Pakistan. You wanted to close Ondo if it goes below 82. That's no longer the plan. That's a good mention. I forgot to look at Ondo. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I probably would. I'd just wait for my BTC plan, to be honest. Because for now it doesn't make sense that I'm long on the market and expecting a bounce and then I start selling some of my bag. I'd probably see that with my BTC plan if Ondo gives a reclaim back or not, right? If not, then probably I'd be selling remaining bag in profits. I I think the way this last stage 4 sell off looks, I think there is a really good possibility of the Ondo plan we talked about, if you remember, right? Probably something like this. So yeah, probably I'd be a Ondo buyer again around like 0.6, 0.5, maybe a bit lower. Uh, you think will be a better idea to just play limits on limits for what? Are you in Pakistan? Yeah, I am. Sol will follow BTC when goes up. Obviously, like when have you seen BTC going up and Sol going down? Yeah, it could sometimes be weaker, especially when ETH starts showing strength because it's usually either Sol or ETH leading on the day. But obviously, things even if they are lagging, they would still get dragged up by with the BTC move up. You think it would be good enough to just have a single limit at 61,250? Um, Again, I'm not a future teller, right? I don't know how low we could go. Um, if this plan plays out, I'm already in 50% of my position size. I personally have two 25% bids around these levels, and that's how I'm playing. I don't know if it goes here, bounces, goes here, bounces. I don't know. Uh, Historically, BTC dumps are 25-30%. Uh, okay, enough of this theory, man. Like, I have answered to that like 100 times. If we take the top 70K, couldn't we assume that the lowest for BTC? Okay, yeah, yeah, man, we can go to 54K. I'm not saying we can't. Um, I'm just a buyer here, right? Everyone has their own bias. Happy to be wrong. Let's move on. I hesitate between Sol and R India. What do you mean by I hesitate between Sol and R India? I hate this coin, man. It literally just ruined my yesterday mood and my spot challenge momentum that we were going on. Uh, and every time I take it on my challenge, it just shits the bed. But yeah, let's look at the chart. Uh, was a decent sweep today. To be honest, uh, sweeping the Saturday new close. I think, to be honest, eventually being a buyer at these levels, it's a bit weird in a way because most of the time the way I love to play the newer coin listing is I try to find some similarities between how the past listing on the coins went with the current one and what ENA is doing right now. I'm not able to remember which past newer coin did something like this where initially went into a strong up mode and then started went. I think Manta maybe. No, even Manta was a bit different. I think overall you could stick. The best way of playing this is, to be honest, considering it's super volatile coin. So I just hate this to play this on intraday leverage. To be honest, like even if you are having which looks like a tight invalidation below the last lows, it would still end up being like a 8% invalidation. So I just hate this coin to be taking on intraday leverage. I think overall, if you are bullish on this coin and you are looking for some exposure, I think anything into zero point 0.8 down till 0.7 would be a great play in coming weeks and months. So I think this would be a great accumulation plan for anyone uh, anyone who is looking for some EN exposure. I think any move down into this yellow box would be a great buying opportunity. That's all I could say about this coin, to be honest. Looks kind of dim. Interesting. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, this was the first few weeks of price action on dim. Could be. Yeah, I think this is the initial move up, another run of the highs, another run of the highs, and then back down into the range. So yeah, I agree with you. But I think even worst case scenario, right? Because comparing it with Dim is actually worst case scenario, right? Because just look at what Dim did after that, it literally died. But worst case scenario, even if you are comparing this with what Dim did, buying Dim at this demand around the listing highs did, at least for short term, prove to be a good buying opportunity, right? So if you were someone who accumulated dim at these levels, at this, like the level we talked about on ENA, right, uh, where you buy around these levels, right, so even though later dim literally died, but initially it did give like a 30-40% move up from that level. So yeah, I think still I'd be a buyer around this yellow box if it gives. MCAP pretty strong, yeah. That's the reason it's my top pick for a long today. I mean, isn't ENA going right now strong? I don't think so. Like, yes, it was pretty strong initially on the Saturday nuke, but just look at it, what it has been doing ever since. It's it's literally in a down only mode. Like talking in intraday terms, right? It pretty much retraced like 30% of the buyback, and it's also one of the alts that has already swept the Saturday new close. That's already trading around Saturday lows. So I'd not say it's the strongest right now, but if you're talking in terms of higher time frame, then maybe, because it still hasn't broken any higher time frame structure, still ranging. That's why I'm saying that any move down from these range lows into this yellow box would be a good buying opportunity. Uh, what else do we have to talk about? Each order looks decent, man. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. But a lot depends on BTC here as well. Uh, why are we sharing food pictures over here on the stream? Um, what else do we have to talk about? Pakistan. I can tell by his American accent. Uh, remembering his Ian, man, I need 100x coins. We all need 100x coins. Uh, if BTC goes for the sweep, how low do you think we? I'm not like, none of us traders are fortune teller, right? Like if BTC does this, what all does this? Overall, I have a bias that as long as RNDR continues to uh, hold this listing highs, I am going to let my spot hold. Uh, Also, as long as my BTC plan is valid, RNDR is valid for me. So yeah. Mm, I have 28 limits. What? 28 limits? Are you using that exchange scaling in feature? I have a spot bag of Jito. Thinking of converting it over to R India. How does Jito look to you? That's kind of a suggestion that, to be honest, it completely depends on you, right? Because you're not asking me to, like, for example, someone asked me earlier on what to choose between Pepe and Viv. That's something I can say because they all belong to the same meme coin category, right? And if someone asked me to what choice to make out of a narrative, that is something I could tell, right? Which is the better coin of the narrative. But Jito and Jito is a MEV coin of Sol ecosystem. RNDR is a leading AI narrative coin, right? So now you need to ask yourself on whether you are bullish on Sol and you want to continue holding Sol eco coin, especially the MEV narrative, or you want to get some AI exposure, getting into RNDR. uh, how volatile will BTC be during halving? I don't think so. It would be much. I think it would be like nothing major news kind of a thing. Like people would be waiting for timer, and once that timer hits, halving is done. Just like a whipsaw candle, or just like a 1-2% up and down. Nothing much. Uh, so essentially, if we break 63.5, we fly. Yeah, that's my bottom confirmation on BTC for my plan. So for me, it's either break of 63.5, and we are pretty good with our longs, and that's where we look to TP closer to 65K. So if we zoom, like let's grab a cleaner chart on BTC. Yeah, let's do that on Bybit. Um, so how I'm looking to play it is this. I'm considering this to be my range. Uh, right, and considering this move down, and the sell off, I think eventually once we bottom closer to this range lows, maybe a sweep down, or we break above this mid range kind of thing, above 63.5. That's where I think I'd be targeting all this impulsive sell off that we got from the highs. And eventually, I think the way I'm looking at is this initial tap of 65 is my first take profit zone. Probably I'd sell 50% of all my short term exposure, and then look for remaining to see that if the market continues the bid, then probably remaining around 67. Or if we start to deviate back down, then sell remaining as well. That's how I'm looking to play intraday. Uh, but yeah, I think this would be this week's range overall. Yeah, I like this better. Yeah. So you could treat this as your range for the week, right? And we have been talking since Sunday about a ranging price action to be ready for a ranging price action this week, and so far playing out well. I think right now the way I am playing this is I am already long from these lows. Happy to add a bit lower, closer to range lows. But for bottom confirmation that the bottom is in, you need a flip of this mid range. So basically, once we flip 63.5, that's where you target this imbalance move and a move towards maybe even these previous highs. So basically, anything from 65 to 67 is take profit zone for me, and anything below 63 down till 60.5 is buy for me. So this is pretty much how you could play this week best and not get chopped out. Is anything around here is take profit zone and not to FOMO in. Anything down here is buy, regardless of how much market is trying to fud you out. Play the range as long as the range holds. That's a simple bear market rule that plays pretty well. Also, can you people stop having a conversation of your own in chat? Uh, you should more look at how BTC buying. Okay, most of it is just you people having a talk of your own. There's a new RWA token on Sol launched today, Parcel. Yeah, I think Impulse is super bullish on Parcel. Pocky is with us. Pocky, I think just give me a minute. I need to grab my headphones. Probably I left it downstairs, so just give me a minute.
Yes, sir. 420 weekend, man. It's been a busy one. Nick, nah, I'm not. We're not doomed, bro. We're not doomed at all. Just want to see some levels. We got time too, bro. We got like what, 3.5 hours? Anything can happen. Nah, I'm not gonna say 56 right this moment. I mean, it's kind of doing exactly what we wanted it to do. It just took what am I, like 24 hours? Yeah, it's about 24 hours it took to hit those levels that we were looking at for a continuation long. Ah, Mills, you're funny. What's HBJ got up here on his charts? Does he got a little cup and handle going on the 30? That's nice. Got some fibs pulled. Nice. Tau. Oh, oh. The Tau trade where we got filled and only took TP1 at 80% round trip the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. Good trade, Pocky. Oh, shit. It's embarrassing.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, that's good. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Just a busy week.
Yeah, true. I think it has been like not only week, but even the weekend was pretty like it even if not busy, pretty stressful. But yeah, I just
Oh, man,
hope
I
market
haven't even
event.
been in the markets. I've been working with the cryptos or the cannabis shit because of 420.
Then you are super lucky, I'd say. If there was someone who was like away from the market over the weekend, then yeah, I'd consider him lucky.
Oh, yeah, no, I still got my ass handed to me on Friday.
So you were there on. So what happened with me was that I was literally on stream on the Friday nuke as well. So the two consecutive days nuke we got right, like on the Friday we had 25% alt single candle nuke day. Then the very next day we had the same with the Warford and all. Both the times I was in stream, I was in positions. Even though they all played pretty well and we made good profits catching the bottom, but it was super stressful, right? And it's not because of especially the move down, because like once you have been through bear market, you get used to such moves down. But the especially with when you are stream and there are people continuously mentioning about Iran just sent something now, and now the world is doing this, everyone giving their own take on how world war is starting, or just the entire world is fucked and entire market is fucked. So being on stream and trading and doing buying, and with all that uncertainty and pressure, it was super stressful weekend, I'd say, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have closed the stream. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's funny. We were in the dojo. There was like 10, 20 people in the dojo uh trading the Friday nuke.
Yeah.
Um it was, yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild. Did you just catch along just now a minute ago?
I am long on BTC, like almost from 61.9. Like I am 50% in, just waiting for my either a flip above 63, 63.5, or my remaining orders to be filled. But overall, I have a bias of marketing bottoming out. Sorry, why did I say marketing? Market bottoming out closer to these levels, to be honest. So yeah, I'm in like BTC long and MKR long right now.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So yeah, what else do we have to talk about? We do. I loved it. To be honest, like these are kind of days that when you look at year or two later, you do remember those exciting times. Like even when I look back to the FTX crash days, even though I personally got wrecked a lot during the FTX crash, I'd say, but still great days to be alive in the market. To be honest, I'd still not forget when the GCR tweet came out. Like, I'd be honest, before the GCR tweet, I was because anyone with a good size position that time, and buying literally a 20% one candle nuke, and longing and buying while Iran drones are pretty much on their way to Israel, and you don't know how things escalate. And then minutes later, GCR tweets come in. That was actually the time I even added a bit more to my positions. That's how calming that tweet was, and it was pretty much on point, and we eventually bottomed out. So yeah, if there is one person who I owe a good hug if I ever get to meet as GCR, which probably I'd never get to. uh GCR fucked up the PA play. Eagle, why do you always have to be uh like am I wrong? I don't know, but someone saying to close longs because of GCR. Who told you to close longs because of that GCR tweet? Just join both. First, we going up or down. Hopefully up soon. Can you remind what was that GCR? Yeah, probably Rhyme. You weren't there on the Saturday stream. I think you could just go to his account and see his it was his first tweet after more than like 1.5 years. Uh, you Amy, how you doing? I don't know to call you brother or sister. Uh, Market new. And what was he saying? It was kind of like a bullish tweet where he said that literally at like the pico bottom where we still hadn't bounced yet. Yeah, this was the tweet. If you have been sidelined, I believe this is a good buying opportunity, and not do not get shaken out and stuff like this.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he's probably referring to alts, but it makes sense. I mean, dude, we're at bear market levels on some some of these alts, dude.
Yeah, like there are a lot of like coins that people used to be bullish on. They are literally like stuff like ARB and Dot and Atom and Phil and all these Dino old cycle, retail's favorite coins. They pretty much like nuked back to the bear market levels.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, this is if anyone was wanting to get exposure on a lot of these coins, I mean, for spot at
Yeah.
least is now the time. Alt season after
Uh,
having, that would be nice.
so would I get had enough of you Deegan retards? Uh, who is GC as he's like the ultimate crypto trader? I think yeah, probably one of the like the highest hit rate kind of a trader. Uh, and I think like these kind of people catch so much traction is the kind of public conviction calls they have made, like the things that make GCR the gain him the publicity that he has is like he was the one who publicly shorted Dodge right before that, you know, Elon, what was that? Whatever,
Oh,
you know,
Saturday
was
Night Live,
coming.
yeah.
The Elon live that was coming, and he was the one who publicly shot it with some good size. He was also one of those when the entire market was like giga bullish on Luna, right? And he just like publicly challenged Denon on calling his entire project and ecosystem as a scam and publicly making a bet against him of his entire project drugging out, and eventually which it did. And I think that was the trade which is still considered as the biggest PNL trade in public trade, at least um so far in the history of CT. So yeah. I think there are few people, even though they are not active that much and might not still have that much of a following in like numbers term, because there are so many new people shilling stuff and shit posting, gaining way more followers and traction lately. But th- people like Kobe, GCR, they are still people. They are kind of still people who could literally move the market with some of their tweets, right? Just because of the way they are still respected among the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember Kobe sharing some Bitcoin hash code. If I'm not wrong, he shared some kind of like what do you call that, where you try to communicate something in a hash code or something. Uh, and he shared something like that, and people interpreted it as Binance rugging, even though it didn't. And BTC nuked almost like 4-5% that day just because of him sharing that. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about? Uh, Link. Is Link still relevant in the current market? What happened to Link? Like, I'm
It's
excited to see. I haven't
basically
looked
back
at
at
Link.
it's back almost to the fucking bear market range, bro.
It's back at $13.
You see where it bounced off of? It's like that little baby range
Yeah,
before like it ran. That's like
yeah,
what's holding it up right now. If we lose that little baby range, you better damn you better damn get ready for like $8, 7, 6, yeah.
yeah.
Fucking
I
shit, man.
and even someone like John, who has been like a Link maxi for a very long time, and he's right to be so, because Link, I think, was one of his highest return backs, because he was in like Link way, like I think he got Link at cent something, whatever. But yeah, even John just gave up on Link.
He did a good job selling the top, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Personally, I think that was a fabulous exit.
but yeah, so whoever asked about Link, it is retesting a really good high time frame level. Previous the range it had before it broke out, it's at the previous range lows. It's probably a good level for some short term bounce, but yeah, in summary, it's a pain to be doing anything like swing related or links. Yes, there are some like days once in a month where links showing some strength for some intraday scalp, but yeah, that's it. Uh, wasn't Link the coin that got him going? I think it was RSR, if I'm not wrong. I did watch the latest podcast he did with Woods. I think he mentioned there that it was RSR, if I'm not wrong. That was like his first big winner that he got, and that got him
Um,
going. Mhm. It wasn't even RSR. It was I forgot the ticker. Um,
Veneri.
mm,
Let's see.
with- uh,
I'll bust out some TA for people.
is this the trade GCR final? Many of the wealthiest people I met from the cycle often told me. Yeah, probably this is the trade. Yeah. And I think a lot of fun happened even before this because it was not only this trade, it was almost like $1 million bet that kind of a wager that he did with Dunon as well. So,
Um, I
like, I think
mean,
a year back, I just had too much free time and I just went over a lot of past GCR Dunon stories and Kobe stories and some interviews and podcasts. It was just fun thing to go through and a lot of learning uh, opportunity as well. Yo, Tabish, how you doing, brother? Looks like we are off to range lows on BTC. To be honest, so far it's just doing nothing. Let's see.
yeah, yeah. The what is this called? The Veneri. I mean, dude, we're at all time low. There's really there's really nothing to go off of, man. Um, like for my TA, you're looking at like 1412 to 1265 is really like all you got. Here, I'll post a chart for
I think
you.
someone, yeah, we did go over the. Is it the one VANRY, right? Van Reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point with Van Reach and the only concern I have with this coin is that you would be looking exposure on this coin for some gaming exposure, right? And one concern I have with this coin is, and I read about it well, that this initial run that it had was like heavily marketed and influencer shield kind of a thing that it did. Now after it did that, the kind of sell off, like 70% sell off, this like weird looking top. If I had to personally go for some gaming exposure. I'm not fudding anyone out of their Vanry bags, don't get me wrong. But yeah, you asked for opinion. I'd rather go with something like Beam, ILV, stuff like that. I
I
personally
mean,
am not a fan of things that get like overly marketed and then top out in this way.
I'm a pretty good bottom sniper, but I'll be honest with you, this shit looks it's hard. It's not that it's 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 just hard. Here, you want to see my chart for this?
Yeah.
Here's what I would look for.
Bro is
Um,
fudding Eli. No, I'm not fudding. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think Eli and the group got in around like these levels, right? And it's already up like 4 5x. And this is one of his bear market bags, and I'm pretty sure he has already taken out a big chunk
oh,
out, and most of the
oh,
people who took the
it's
call has taken out the big chunk out. So
why can't I
there's
see what? Oh, spot.
because you are on the perks
It was on.
chart, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Vanry was the previous TVK, right? Because I traded TVK a lot in the bear market, so it was like the previous TVK that got rebranded into Vanry.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is a lot easier now. All right. All right. All right.
Your opinion on RW narrative? I think it's one of like if I have to pick the top three narratives of the cycle, it would be RWA, meme, and AI. So yeah, RW is something that you should definitely look to have some sort of exposure. Uh, is Parcel good? I personally don't have know much about Parcel. The only thing I know is that Impulse is really bullish on it. I saw him calling it out few times that it's going to be his major RWA bag, and probably he'd be able to guide you on it better. I personally am a believer of just bidding the leading coin out of the narrative, even though they don't give the maximum returns, but at least you are just betting on the trending stuff, right? Which is Ondo, and we have been playing Ondo pretty well. And time to time, I just try to increase my exposure on it. For so far, the Ondo plan I have is that if with our BTC plan, like once we bottom, if hopefully we bottom here, if Ondo is still not able to flip, let me put it a bit high. Yeah, if Ondo is not able to flip this level that we lost, and it starts to do something like this, probably I'd like we have a bag. We got twice entry around these wick lows. And I'd probably sell the remaining bag. We took a TP around 0.8, 0.9. I'd sell remaining in profits, and then look for something like this to buy again on Ondo, where we go for these wick sweeps, slow bleed down. Then, like, overall, if Ondo gives you anything closer to 0.6, 0.5, it would be a great buy. uh your top three pick, I think Ondo is my only pick for now. Why do you need three? Wow. uh Parcel got airdrop today, right?
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's nothing to be bearish on, right? Just looking at the sell off, it's just the initial airdrop. The people who got big airdrops, it just immediately cheated off. And it's not my personal opinion on it is that if something of a airdrop token does something like this, uh if it does something like this in normal bullish conditions, then it's something to be concerned on, right? Like, for example, and it's not something that's new, right? You saw what Jito airdrop or Jup airdrop and all these airdrop did initially. They all went into a strong downtrend. But I think more of what Parcel did today has to do with current market conditions, because right now people are not as risk on as they were, let's say, a month or two ago, right? So, for example, if I am a player into the market and I am getting a big size airdrop today, and I am uncertain on how this war thing and how the market unfolds in coming day, the first thing I'd be doing is just selling my things right away, right? I'm getting free money, free airdrops. What would I do, right? Would I continue holding it in such uncertain conditions? Probably not. So I think whatever happened has more to do with kind of market conditions we are in. Uh, and I think initial airdrop price action doesn't tell you much about the actual coin fundamental or the bullishness or the bearishness. Uh, like we know a lot of airdrop coins that actually did well initially, but then they literally died. Like, for example, look at what Dem did, right? Dem was one of the stronger coins for a few days or a week or two when it initially got airdropped and listed. Then Dem literally died. So I think initial first days of listing doesn't tell you much. Oh, is this a single wallet? Insane. Yeah, probably just impulse trying to buy any sell off that we are getting. He usually does go insane with the stuff he has conviction on, so could be. Uh, can we look Monai and tell me I'm about to be rugged, potted when Nick Monai? I don't know anything about it. Also, I'm not like on chain or something kind of expert here. Uh, It's been pissing me off all day. What? Parcel? Mona? Yeah, I don't know anything about it. DXY 1 week breakout GPs around. This makes me wonder how much lower could BTC go. I think whenever, and it's my personal bias coming from trading these condition bear market conditions, where like the kind of dollar and macro analyst you are starting to see pop out right now, right? Like I believe right now my every second to third tweet is related to how fucked macro environment is right now, how strong dollar is, and how war is going to mark out the top on the markets. My personal kind of a thing is that whenever you start to see this, it's a good bottom that it's a good indication that bottom is closer. But yeah, I think the way I see dollar right now is that I know that it's been breaking out of a big macro range it has been in. But then you could look at it in both ways, right? You could either look at it as a range break, uh, which continues trending higher and gets really bearish on the markets. But at the same time, how I personally look at this is that every time dollar went to these levels, right? Whether it was just tapping range highs or deviating a bit above, it was pretty much the macro bottom on the markets, right? Whether it's crypto or, for example, on October 23, 3ish, right? That was something where that was the place where dollar topped out here, right? And that was the time where actually crypto bull market and stock strong uptrend started. So what is to tell you here that it doesn't repeat the same? So I rather look at it something that would eventually do something like this. Might be wrong, and it's actually a range breakout, and it trends much higher, and markets are topped, and bull market is over, and bear market is starting. Whatever. Uh, I freed up a lot of funds from some coins I consider too weak. Could you advise what to buy for spot now? FTM, STX. Uh, okay. If I have to give my best pick of all to buy. Uh, Okay. That first of all, like the kind of thing that you need to ask yourself is what kind of risk appetite you have behind your capital, right? If it's too high, then probably scaling into some AI on chain stuff, which like for example, John has a lot of strong conviction, right? Something like Desync or Hash AI, and I believe a lot of them are still at a great discount compared to what they were past weeks. Um, that's something if you have a great risk appetite on your capital, right? Because they even though they are great potential stuff and all, but on-chain stuff also tends to be something that could literally uh, do like a 40% move down within few hours. On the other hand, going to the other extreme where your risk appetite is too low, then probably going into buying something like Sol would be the easiest in my opinion, and the least stressful, and like the most obvious play of the cycle, right? Like buying Sol around like 120 that it's trading right now down till 100. Maybe even if it like worst case scenario goes to 80 $90, anything from 80 to 120, buying at these levels and eventually selling at 300 400 is like the least risky and the most obvious play of the cycle, right? Like no matter whatever happens with ETH and other things coming up, Sol still remains to be the L1 narrative of the cycle, right? There is no doubt in that. So if you have really less risk appetite, then buying Sol and eventually selling it for 2 3 4x is something that you could do, right? So too much risk appetite, then maybe go to on-chain stuff. Too less risk appetite, then maybe going to something like Sol and ETH. Or if you want to just get in the middle, then buying something like Ondo, which is like kind of a mid cap right now. On the RWA narrative, or some AI mid cap stuff like RNDR. Uh, yeah, so I think the top picks could be RNDR, Ondo, Sol, uh, some of the meme exposure. For example, I accumulated good sized Dodge bag past days uh, for the coming meme. traction that might come with all this Elon stuff and going into May. Uh, so yeah, that could be my suggestion. Link is also the safest. Yeah, it is safest in a way that it would probably do nothing. So you are safe. Uh, INJ or Sol at these levels. The point is, and whatever I say isn't based on like anything fundamental related, right? The issue uh, is that when I look at INJ versus Sol, purely based on trend and the chart and how things look, I prefer Sol to be a much better and a much stronger looking trend than what INJ did, right? For example, the kind of 2 to 3 months long accumulation INJ had, it would have a really difficult time getting acceptance back up and eventually making new all time highs. While on the other hand, I don't see anything similar on Sol. When I zoom out on daily, I feel Sol to be a much better and stronger looking uptrend that you could maximum expect it to sweep the lows that we got on Saturday. Something like 109, maybe even max drawdown like 100, right? But that's, in my opinion, is a much better buy, to be honest. Not like purely the way the trends look and the charts look. Sol is probably one of my biggest bag right now. The Yeah, I think it's the biggest bag right now on Sol, and I'd be even happy to even add closer to 180 if it gives.
Yeah, I got into Soul. It's one of the ones I'm sitting in right now.
Yeah. I was given Sol under $20 in a group and I didn't buy. You could be that guy who keeps on crying over the prices they missed. For example, I was actively trading the market when Sol went like $8, or I think the 8 was the bottom, right? I was on the group active that day, and I was the one making the making the most fun out of Sol and fudding people out of Sol, right? Telling people that the next thing Sol is going to is getting a getting 1,000 Sol USDT per listing, right? Just as what Luna did. So now I could sit here crying over why, instead of making fun and fudding people out, I didn't buy Sol at 8, or rather see how I could now make money out of it. Uh, Never have a price bias on anything, right? Price bias is where you keep these things into your mind that if I didn't buy at 20 or if I didn't buy at 8, why would I be buying at 120, which is like the worst mindset you could have in a bull market. But it hurts. No, it doesn't. I don't even care about the kind of buys I missed in. I didn't buy a single thing throughout bear market. um, and I have zero regrets because I also know people lost their entire portfolios in bear market, which I didn't. So you can always look at the positive thing out of it. Did you short it at 8? No. If you were someone who was there throughout during these FTX crash days, market was like extremely volatile, right? Like right now what you are seeing is nothing, right? At that particular time, alts were literally moving like, I'd say 5-10% within a single 5 minute candle. And I am talking about regular alts, right? Not some random shitcoin volatile kind of stuff. Market used to be insanely volatile, and I think most of us just stayed away from leverage those days. Those were some insane times. ETH going to $800, Sol going to $8, BTC towards 16. Uh, yeah. Mm. My app is telling me I need to get some sleep. What kind of apps are these that which tell you that you need to go to sleep? Like I'd probably delete that app the first. thing I do is bro, I'll sleep until I'm done watching TikTok. Yeah, getting addicted to reels is like the worst thing you could do to your mental and physical health, to be honest. Wow, Sol is looking good. Yo, MKR is looking great. Our MKR long is like already 3% up. I think alts are finally showing some decent relief. Even R&DR buys that we got are in profits now. Probably our Monday, Wednesday relief theory is finally coming into play. Let's
I
go.
like how
Just
funding's looking. To be honest with you, we haven't had
m-
this funding in a while.
like to be honest, right now, I just feel I'm just hating any bearish post I see right now. That is why even someone on one of the members right now told me that what if BTC goes down 30%, and that literally just triggered me because I don't know, man. Like there are people like keep on bear posting, keep on waiting for lower. And if you have been someone who has been waiting for that since top, I respect that. But if you have been someone who like literally at the bounce started bull posting that we are going straight up and now we have retraced that move and started flipping bearish, I just kind of hate those traders, to be honest, and especially at lows, range lows, you are starting to be bearish. And I'm pretty sure as soon as we get a move towards 65, 67, that's where people again start bull posting. That's where actually I'd again book all my intraday profits. But yeah, just play the range as long as the range holds. And it's super funny on how the entire CT sentiment switched from like pre GCR tweet. It was like war is about to begin, World War III is here, entire thing is entire market is going to zero. Right, as soon as GCR tweet came out, everyone bought the bottom. Everyone had like pico bottom entries. They were calling out generational entries. They are, they are going to hold for much higher. And then as soon as price started retracing back down, the same people flipped back to bearish. Like right now, I think 70% of the sentiment is just like most of them waiting for lower, most of them calling out market tops, and macro experts coming out telling how fucked the macro environment is and how the cycle is going to be either shorter or the cycle is topped out. To be clear, if you are okay, if we so to be clear, you are okay if we get the chop now back to break. We're not closing MK long anyways. First of all, Victor, I see you like asking so many questions about MKR position. Any updates that's like necessary on MKR? You don't need to ask me about that, right? You get to see that clearly in my corner or in the active futures, right? And secondly, yes, I am even if even though MKR is looking pretty strong is and is already up 3%. Unless I specifically mention in my corner that I have moved my stops break even, it's going to be a full setup. So MKR is even R&DR is looking good. Wow, MKR. I think MKR at least gets this supply tab soon, which would be my major TB around like 3300. Uh, Wiz is the most bullish. How does his? Yeah, I'm not here to comment on any. No, I'm asking for like your opinion. I got more longs open, and saw you are the only one the whole day to be dealing with the job. So I was curious on your just asking him here because I know it's the only level. Yeah, so pretty much that's my bias. But also, looking at what you are saying that you are in multiple positions, just don't do that in this job. Like I could have taken, considering how much of a strong conviction I have of this being closer to a bottom, I could be in 5-7 longs right now, right? But I am not, because that's not how you trade a chop or a ranging price action. You just play the extremes with your risk managed with fewer position, because more positions mean that it's more of a mess, more of things to manage at the same time. You could rather just do that with two positions and have a much more conviction on them and then just stick to them. Uh, Getting back to the OP topic, why not? Ava, thoughts on these L1, L2, FTM, OP, and whatnot. Do you literally want me to go over like 10 of the alts right now? FTM, OP, Sui, SEI. I think the most bullish I could be out of these would be AVAX and FTM, maybe. Yeah. FTM, probably due to their recent kind of changes, they pivot a bit. And the way even the chart looks, AVAX probably because of the Sol AVAX relation. So if I'm bullish on Sol, eventually means that AVAX goes higher as well. Uh, HBJ is tired, let him sleep. No, I'm not tired. I sometimes do get tired a bit from like infinite alts requests. Like if a single person asks about 10 alts at a time. What is your opinion on one intro launch? I haven't heard about it. uh, top 200 coins. Yeah, I'll soon post that in my corner, like a 200 coins analysis and thoughts. And then write a long thread on risk management. Two of my favorite things to do.
But by the time you get done doing all that, most limits will either be invalid.
Yeah, most of the things I would have said would be invalid, and that would probably be like the top of the cycle.
Oh, we're juicing on BTC. Let's go.
Yeah, just we just need to flip this 63.5 that we haven't been able to since yesterday. Bitcoin moving a bit. What do you want to see our daily close, please? I personally am not like a believer of daily closes conference kind of thing. What I just need to see is this mid range to be flipped on intraday. So anything above 63.5 proves to be uh, bottom kind of giving. But again, don't get me wrong. There, as much as I am bull posting right now, I'd flip immediately to like it, even not bear posting, but still fudding people out of their out of not longing at least, because just play the range as long as the range is there, right? All the exposure I got today at these lows, I'd be booking them completely at 65, 67. Don't be someone who throughout the day today was bearish, expecting the market to just nuke down of the range. And then as soon as we go to 65, 67, start bull posting and aping into leverage long. Just play the range wisely. And be aggressive with your profit taking on intraday. For when we break all time high and go much higher, for that you have your spot buys that come into play. Wow, MKR is 4% up. That's nice. uh, how old are you, HBJ? 24. Are India green on spot challenge? Yes, it is. Uh, I'm gonna go downstairs to grab some popcorn. Okay.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Just fibs. Zato. Good morning, Gummy. Yes, I am Silver. Oh shit. Yeah, I'll never be. I'll never have the mic and I'll be on stream, but I won't have my mic on if I'm a little intoxicated. Celebration was too much. Oh damn, we rejected off the value area high of the current range. Let's see
Yeah,
range POC 62,952 hold.
yeah, probably we keep on jobbing for a while, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Um
even expecting a deviation to 59K to scare a lot of folks out of their position. How much scaring out do you need? Yeah, maybe it can. Not saying it. It's not a possibility. I would like to see if we go lower so people start hating the GSR. Then would yeah, maybe that happens. Uh, okay, don't make the stream too boring. What else do you have to talk about? Uh, Grayscale, 80 million negative. That's not a lot. Uh, oh, BTC looks great.
Yeah, here we go. Got 10 minutes on the 30 to see if we can get a candle closure above 63,401. Be fantastic. Mm.
BTC, let's go.
Yeah, about time. Now the question is, am I gonna swing this or we scalping?
I'm thinking the same of like, should I take partial profits here at the mid range or stick to my 65, 67 targets?
I think I'm just gonna take a partial. I'm gonna put a partial in at like 64, 750.
Yeah.
Zato, yeah, it's gonna be different from Binance and Bybit, just because of the wicks. Binance gets some pretty, or Bybit gets some pretty gnarly wicks. All right, well, just gonna let this ride, HBJ. I'm gonna step out.
Yeah,
Fucking,
that's good.
I
Have a
fucking
good
mailed
time.
out like 50 glass pieces, man. I'm burnt.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I'll catch you guys later, man. Thanks for having me.
Have a good time. Yeah, it was a good read on market today. Just now, give me 65, 67, and I run away with all my profits. Your impulses with us on the stream too. How are you doing, brother? Good, bro. I got a bit too bearish at the. Yeah. I could relate to that, to be honest, because lately the sentiment is so bearish around. And that's one of the reason I've been max bidding every time we are going towards like 62, 63. Because I don't know, I just can't tolerate the bearishness that's around while we are still at range lows. Uh, I'm almost in three intraday long positions. Wala upgrade RNDR. MKR is the one. I think we did a good work with the alt selection. MKR is leading right now, almost up like 5%. BTC bottom long up good. RNDR doing good too. So yeah, but overall, I still think like the same people who were fudding entire day for the past 2 days around the lows. As soon as you'd get around 65, 67, you'd start to see that all-time high calls and euphoria once again. And my overall bias on the market remains the same, that throughout the week it's going to be a big pain chop and a ranging price action. Don't expect any side to don't bet on extreme like the continuation on the extremes, right? For example, if we are at lows, don't short here, at least the least you could do. And if we are at the highs around 65, 67, don't get into FOMO longs, right? Just play the range as long as we are in the range. Mm, 3400, yeah, still that is still into play. But the thing that is still to watch here is this level has to be flipped, right? This mid range, unless it doesn't, you still can't it's like every time we have gotten these bounce on intraday, people have flipped immediately bullish, right? Don't do that in a chopping ranging price action unless we flip. We get a clean flip above 63.5. I could still see about that's the reason I haven't moved my stops break even on BTC yet. I have taken partial profits, so it's either ride remaining into 65, 67 fully, or else see another rejection back down and then run it back up. So let's see. What's your entry HPJ on what? BTC? We almost got like the Pico bottom entry 61.9. BTC, to be honest, I've been trying my best to catch every single bottom. Some good knife catching attempts. Like we longed this bottom wick, then got like a 1 hour move out of it. Then stopped just break even. Then longed again at the bottom wick. Then the same scenario. Uh, then in today's move, I had limit orders at 61.3. They got front ran. We marketed in at 61.9 ish. And yeah, so far playing well. How much leverage? Why on every single stream do I get these questions about how much leverage? I am on a 50x. That doesn't mean that I have a higher risk, or if you are on 100x, you have a higher risk than me, or if you are on a 2x or a 10x, you have a lower risk than me. How do we scale now? Let's do one together. What do you mean by how do we uh, scale now? Scale now on what? HBJ I shorted. Yeah, just take care of your stops and liquidation. Markets would soon come for it. Uh, Maybe after a small rejection from here, but you would soon get blown out. Hopefully. Uh, mm, Scalp. How can we do a scalp now? Let's do. No, I don't. As I said, the and to be honest, that's one of the reason. Despite the entire market nuking for the like what happened on Friday, Saturday, and even the chop ever since, we haven't taken a single stop loss on leverage, right? And the reason being that it's not a chasing market right now, right? We longed the bottom, booked partial profits here. That's all you could do. Now that if you start, getting into the FOMO of missing the bottom and start longing here, there's a good possibility that we still haven't flipped this mid-range level that we have been rejecting from since yesterday night, right? You FOMO in here, you get chopped up by a rejection back down, you start flipping bearish because it got rejected, and that's where it actually bottoms and goes back up, right? So rather look to bet on extremes rather instead of continuation. That's, in my opinion, the best way of playing here. Um, and to be honest, that's one thing that I'm glad that I learned trading throughout the bear market, and that's one of the reason I was great at trading bear market, because that's literally what you have to do. And also one of the reason I am not a fan of trading bull market in a strong uptrend, because I bull market is great for swing traders, for spot buyers and stuff. But for intra trading, it's difficult to get into to join the strong moves up. But in ranging price action, it's as easy as booking profits at highs, longing again at lows. That's all you need to do. Start to chase the move. That's a good possibility of you getting chopped up. When would you put the entry again? So now that what I was expecting has played out, I've gotten these entries, booked partial profits here at the mid range. Now it's coming to my take profit zone soon, right? This imbalance fell closer to 65, 67 is my profit taking area. What do I do next? Is that if I get like a good trigger around 66, 67, which would be that, let me clean up this chart a bit. What I'm looking for is maybe the supply tap, or I would really love a move into 67, even 68. That's where people start calling out for 69 and all time highs again. And any deviation back down, I'd probably look for shorts, just like we took a short over here a few days back. That's probably where I'd again look to start looking for shorts, right? On the other hand, let's say that this keeps on repeating, right? We don't actually flip 63.5 and we start trending back down, then probably I'd look to add to my longs around like 61, 60.7. These are the only two plays now I can see playing in this range. um so you think hitting 67K in short term even with the halving? Sorry, I just came to your stream. Personally, I don't have any, even though I know that halving is very close now. I don't have a halving bias kind of thing, right? Like my overall bias for the week is that we continue ranging within the 60, 67K range, right? I don't think having immediate short term, like for example when the counter ends and halving is done, it would be anything major, right? Maybe you see some 2-3% candles up or down, but that's all you should be expecting. And I've been preaching that ever since the Saturday nuke, that bottoms would take time to form, and a lot of stuff needs to to get repaired before we start trending back again, right? So just expect a good range chop in the coming days. Nothing much. No all-time highs, no 50K calls, nothing. Just expect us to be here for the next days as well. Oh Jesus, that would be horrible if we don't break the 63K today, because I'm still underwater with ETH. Okay. Are you interested in cake? Eating cake? Yes. But yeah, the cake coin. Uh, to be honest, it has been under, like there were days in the like the initial stage of the cycle when like BNB initially started breaking out of that 350 range highs we had on it, right? To take cake as like a a Binance eco play, but to be honest, like yeah, if if you exclude the single 100% move it did, I don't know. Especially for now, like for especially for some short term perspective, if you are what you have in your mind is getting exposure to get good returns, and for example you have a bias of selling in May, or let's say a bit like in a month or two, right? Or like 2-3 months, I'd say betting on stuff that doesn't look this, what's a good word, horrendous, bad, ugly, right, on daily, and that has pretty much broken their higher time frame structures, isn't a good bet, right? Like for example, and we have talked about these examples a lot. So if someone asks me to buy something that looks like Sol, let's say, right, and uh, then buying something like, for example, that day we looked at Woo, right? So like I'm not here to fud people out of their Woo bags if they have one, or anything against Woo, but my point is that when I look at this Wu chart, it's something that broke its higher time frame structure. Is pretty much, if you say, back within the bear market range, right? Then on the other hand, you have something like Sol, which hasn't broken any sort of higher time frame structure, which is kind of retesting the previous range highs we had, right? And now if I have to bet on anything making new local highs, right, new highs in the coming months, I'd rather do that on stuff that's still holding its higher time frame trend well, right? And on those coins, there could be the coins that come in my list could be stuff like, for example, Sol, VIF, even RNDR, right? RNDR, Sol, VIF, even MKR. The reason I longed MKR today is just look at the structure on it, right? And we talked about it before this move in the beginning of the stream. That for me, it's like MKR right now looks better than, in my opinion, 99% of the alts in the market, right? Um, Even if you zoom out, just look at the buyback it had, no break of trend, no break of structure. And when everything raced in the market in the past 2 days, bled pretty strong, MKR is still making new highs on intraday. So try to make your choices well in the term of the kind of sell off they had. Don't try to bet on like right now in this nuke, something that's giving you like lower prices doesn't mean it's a good choice, right? For example, we were having this discussion earlier, about choosing what to buy, and there was someone who was saying that I would rather buy this because it gave a bigger pullback than the other. In fact, it should be opposite, right? The one that didn't give a major pullback means that they are actually buyers stepping in, not letting the price down, which means that the probability of that particular thing making new highs is way more than the stuff that has given a big 70-80% pullback back into the bear market range, right? So yeah, that's my thought process behind picking what to buy lately. So I see a lot of people, saying stuff like buying cake or woo or a lot of stuff that literally died in the nuke. I'd rather avoid these things, not saying that they are topped or something. Eventually you could see them running as well. But if you are looking for some good gains in coming months, rather betting on stuff that's still holding its higher time frame trend could uh, could make you way better gains than what are we talking about? Uh, mm, is there leverage? No, right now I'm only doing a spot one. Uh, what on-chain AI? I'm not holding any on-chain. And if you want me, like if you want any of your on-chain bag to just be the most underperforming bag in the market, then make me buy it, right? And Impulse here could agree with it. Like ever since he got me into Fold, um, Fold has been like the most dead thing in the market. Yeah, we don't talk about Fold. Why don't you get in, John? Why don't I get in on chain stuff? Is because I'd only do that for some, like, if I'm having some free capital and just wanting something exciting to do with some small amount. Because to be honest, I've told that in previous streams as well. I personally am kind of like a risk averse person because I've seen what. uh, Even though the most money is made on chain, right? The 10x, 20x, 30x kind of stuff people make on their buyers, but at the same time, on chain is also something that can lead you to an instant 40% or a 70, 80, 90% drawdown within a day. Um, and I personally am comfortable holding buying stuff like Sol, Sol and Dodge and ETH and stuff like this, which wouldn't give me like a 10-20x gains. I'd be happy with like 100-200% gain I get on my investment, and I'm more than happy with that. Yeah, it's not that easy. True, I agree. In the end, there isn't a single best way of being in this market, right? If I don't trade on chain, doesn't mean that on chain isn't, something good, or it's something you should stay away from. In the end, what matters is, and I always say, is what kind of risk appetite you have, right? I don't have that, but if you have that with your capital, where you are okay with losing such substantial amount with, if it doesn't play out well, then you can go with it. that 50-100% draw down happened. Yeah, I remember that was on Saturday, right? Where a lot of, especially the AI on chain stuff got sold off hard. How old are you, HBJ? 24. Why so bullish for the moment? I'm bullish on intraday, which is kind of playing well. All our longs are up really good. Why? The reason being that I'm just playing the range. That's it. Yeah, which chart did I have? Okay, I lost the chart, but I just playing the range unless proven otherwise. Oh, all our longs are sending right now. Let's go. Do you think, HBJ, do you think normal people like us can make a living by trading? I believe most people cannot, because they initially think that they want to make a living out of trading, but then when they actually start trading, they decide to make generational wealth out of trading, right? And that's where most of them go wrong, because from making 1 to 2% account gains a day, they rather get into the FOMO of multiplying their accounts like 10 times within a short period of time, right? And I always say day trading is a concept which is like a full time job you do, right? For example, if you start account and you end a month by being 30-40% up, like which I personally, that's the only goal I have in my personal trading, right? And I do time to time share the kind of performance I get, right? Like last month was one of my best trading this range where I got like 80-90%, but usually where my goal is like 30-40% max. That's like the max limit I want to achieve by month end. Whereas I know people who want to do multiple excess return through their daily trades. If you want that, do on chain, do way other stuff that market crypto gives you, where you can get multiple returns on your investment within short period of time, or over a period of time. But especially like something like day trading isn't meant for that. Day trading is just getting your small gains every day and just compounding it to grow account, withdrawing it time to time, just considering it as a day full-time job where you are making a living out of it, right? Not to reach big wealth or big goals. So yeah, that's what I would say. 40% a month is insane, really. Yeah, when you look at objectively, it is insane, right? But now let's say that today I post on my Twitter that last month I made 40% gain on my account. I would literally get zero traction, because on CT people are used to praise those who make like who trade their account into 10x 20x in a month or something, right? And this is why people tend to lose the value of money in crypto, right? They just get into the delusion that crypto is just only for making multiple excess gain, and if you are not doing that, you are just underperforming and you are just way worse than the traders that are doing so. um that's a reality. If you have that mindset where you want to be conservative, where you have some small daily goals and want to make a living out of it, and you know the value of money you are putting in a trade, then probably you can be a good daily trader. If not, then, which most of the people not do not, right? They do initially start with that mindset, but eventually they get into emotions and euphoria and eventually end up losing. BTC, let's go. Bro, it was, I won't lie. Uh, Longing since yesterday was one of the most stressful intraday trades that I have taken. Like there was so much of bearish sentiment, and now just look, most of them eventually getting into the FOMO. MKR is sending, ETH is looking good, Sol is looking good, BTC is looking good, RNDR is looking good. For me, 40% every month is incredible. If you have 50K in spot and then every month you touch. Yeah, that's my point, right? People tend to lose value of money. For example, um, talking in minimal terms, for example, like even if you have a account like 10K account, right? And you start trading and you start making 40% out of it, it's 4K in month end, right? And I could say by a fact that in most countries, that's like what people earn by month end, right? Not talking about like some of the high inflation West countries, but most of the places around the world. So, and you are getting that sitting in your room, comfortable, just pressing some buttons, right? And eventually you grow that account up, and eventually, like, let's say you are trading with a 100K account and you are making like 30, 40K out of it month end. Why do you need to um, look for like multiple X's, insane gains? Uh, okay, let's get back. Uh, do you think possibly for do you think by copy trading for make a living? I think yeah. Following calls uh can prove to be good, but in the end, if it's the goal, you have to be a full time trader, and as someone said, making a living out of it, then eventually your goal should be learning, right? And I think there's no better way to grow as a trader, as a person in this market than being in a community like this, right? This community made me what I am today, right? So when I joined, I could rather, I was pretty much like most of you people, even worse than most of you people. Uh, but I could have that moment chose to keep on being the gambler or just turn my life around a bit and start to focus on growing myself as a person. Uh, so yeah, you can either have a short-term mentality where you look for some instant gratification by aping heavy position size and betting your homes on the calls being given in the trade section, or rather look those calls and the stuff we share as a learning opportunity for you people to learn and grow. Uh, it's crazy people want to make 20K a play, but imagine being 500 a day. That's 35. Yeah, exactly right. Just don't lose value of money being in this market. Look into the studio. Yeah, true. I have a friend who entered crypto since 2016 and made a fortune, but hours ago he hold these past things have been liquidated many times. Yeah, this is why I say being old in this market doesn't mean you are better, right? But yeah, like I think I personally might be the youngest. I'd say like I literally joined markets. Like I bought at the 2020 bull market top and started learn trading full time trading like 2021 something. So being big early doesn't mean you are better than others. Please start learning sessions. I probably won't. The reason being that most of the people that ask for learning sessions are actually the people who don't like nothing to you specifically, right? Because it's probably the first time I'm hearing from you. But just talking in general terms, the people who are just asking for some, direct courses or some direct sessions or stuff like that are probably also the people who just don't want to put in a lot of effort and then just want everything given to them, in like a single piece of paper that they can just follow and become good. And the fact is that that is no way of making in the market. As I always say that trading and everything is just subjective, varying from person to person. And if you are actually interested in learning from me, that's probably the reason I stream every single day, right? Yes, we do some jokes and fun around, but I'm always answering people questions and stuff. So probably if you ever want to learn anything from me is by just coming to the streams and asking anything you want to ask. uh, yeah, one-on-one session maybe, but that's like completely different from like a learning session or like teaching classes or something, right? Those one sessions, once I did want to resume it like right after Ramadan, as we talked about. But then you also know that as soon as Ramadan ended and Eid uh, ended, there was like the big Friday and Saturday nuke in the market, and ever since the market has been so I'd say stressful at managing everything and stuff, that I haven't been able to get time to think about anything else. But yeah, probably I'd do the one-on-one session. But one-on-one sessions aren't like, it's not like you'd hop on the session and then just stay silent and I'd keep on teaching you something. I won't probably say anything unless you have to ask me anything, right? Those one-on-one sessions are only for people who have a bit of trading experience, are struggling, want to ask anything, want to discuss something. That's what those sessions are for. When did you join HBJ group? 2021. How long do you think the job lasts? Will it be a sell in the? I think for this week at least, to be honest. Uh, the only way it would be not if we begin to see acceptance above 67ish something. That would be a good trend reversal indicator. Also, I've moved my stops break even on both. The reason being that both of the plays have manual stops, and to be honest, for the past days, I haven't been able to get a good sleep just due to be managing these positions and stuff like that. They both are up good. I'd want to just move my stops to break even and go to sleep, and then just wake up tomorrow to see how things move. Uh, how mm, will it be a sell in the May and go away period in your opinion? I don't think so, to be honest. The reason being that the max, the max, I'd say, the pain, the drawdown, everything bad you want to experience or you feel like the market would experience should be here, right? Maybe that comes in form of a range, alts bleed, or maybe even a move to 58K. But whatever happens, happens around here, right? For me, the kind of accumulation you call this, we have been, and the pain the market has been, and the amount of liquidations the market has experienced over the month, once and for all we go for that move, that would be for the next leg up. I don't think that would be like, May is not that far away, right? What you are saying me is that for few more days we chop and then we break and then that leg just lasts for like what, a week, and we nuke back down. I don't think so. I think the all the pain that the market needs to experience should be around these levels, right? Maybe a move down, maybe this is the bottom, but that pain is in form of a range, in form of alt bleed or something. But once we finally do trend back up, that would be start of next leg up. I don't think that would be something to be bearish on. uh, Also, I sold my RNDR uh, position as well due to the same logic, because I still think 65, 67 gets tapped. Uh, but again, I can't let my manual invalidation positions run because I, to be honest, today want to get a good sleep. So we resume from tomorrow. Why do some of the people think that my BTC position got stopped break even? Like I think that this is the second, third tag I'm getting that didn't it get stopped break even or something? Because like what we did with BTC was that um, we took a long from here when I woke up. It gave us a good push up. Then we moved stopped break even before this move. That trade got stopped break even, but then we entered again around these levels. And it actually gave a good retest for people who were not initially able to enter. And I never did move my stops up. Uh, what's the thought we are talking about? What's the cycle top targets and time frame and thoughts? How long do we have? Even though I don't believe in most of the bear posting that's happening around, and to be honest, that extreme posting was one of the reason I was really confident taking longs today. But I do believe in one thing that's being called out is that this cycle might be a bit more short lived than people expect it to be. Um, the reason being that I do believe that the this move up on the market for this entire bull run that has been started on the risk on assets, including crypto and stocks, it has been in conditions where people did not expect it to happen, right? If you remember the October, November kind of the macro conditions we were in, and even still, right, the kind of where we are moving into with things with the macro environment, and how overall the top leading economies have been performing and stuff. So I know I don't want to, as I said, there are things that I don't have much grasp on and I'm not expert on. And I always come here, be honest, and tell you people that I have zero idea, right? And this is one of the aspects where I have very little knowledge about the macro aspect and the cycle top and bottom aspect. If you're asking about my personal bias, I'd say that I do believe in that theory of the cycle being a bit more less uh, like being short lived than people expect it to be. The 10K to her, it's I think around. Let me check. I'll post it because I just have to adjust uh some of the transfer I made, but yeah, it's probably around 1100 something. I'd say 11 10 900 something. Yeah, ENA was a big hit. To be honest, we were going on a good streak, and just betting that volatile shit coin with good size was a big mistake. We were up like 22%. We are still up like 10 11%. We'll probably make a lot more, but yeah. uh, Closed my maker. What's maker? Was sleeping during STX and got stopped, so this made up for it, and I'm happy. That's sad. STX, to be honest, was a good close. Even though I'm sad that you weren't able to, but we literally closed here right before this big fat nuke came. So MCAR, yeah, that's good. Um, do you believe ETH reached 10K this cycle? Let's have some conservative targets this cycle. So I'd say that yes, 10K is achievable, but let's first look at 5 6K, right? That's something that I could be a bit more confident on. Uh, FTM, TIA, STX, ENS, RIF, FTM, dot sol. Yes, Riff and ENS is probably one thing that two bags I might be cutting out soon. I'm just a bit looking at how this market plays out, right? If we are eventually getting 66, 67, which I do think we'd be getting soon, squeezing out all these shots. And by that time, I'd judge how the alts rotation and dominance looks probably. But yeah, my good conviction plays are still FTM, TIA, STX, Dodge, Sol. Yeah, I'm still sticking to these bags with Sol, with FTM, Dodge, and Sol that we accumulated at lows. ENS and Ref is just like, uh, I hate those bags right now, but probably not the time to unload them, but will soon. Is there anything else that we have to discuss, or else I'd uh, probably be hopping off. What do you think of Pepe? I think we have discussed Pepe in detail in this stream. Right now, I just don't want to go over it in a lot of detail. Again, probably just come tomorrow. I'll probably be streaming again, so you can ask there. So we rejected the value area high. I don't trade value areas. Uh, but for now, what you need to see is just don't overcomplicate trading in these conditions, right? Uh, what you need to see is that this is a range for me, right? Anything around here, and I can't find that chart that I made, but anything around here is for longs. Anything above here is for taking profits or maybe trying for some headshots, right? Now, what to look for is that 63.5 was the level that kind of the mid range intraday level that we kept on rejecting from. That's the level we broke above right now, right? Now, you want to see this level to be held for continuation back up towards like 66, 67. If not, and we start trending back lower, that's probably where I'd be looking to bid um 61.6 down till 60.6 tomorrow again. So if you are active and trading right now, I'd say that if you see deviation back below 63.5, then look to try for longs at these lows around here. uh, ENA, even though we have discussed ENA too, I think we have discussed like 100 alts today. Um, ENA, the like worst coin to be trading intraday leverage. If you are looking for some exposure, best to do that on spot. And the way to do it is buy any pullback closer to this yellow box you get in coming days. I think it would prove to be great bias. Something like this. Anything you get into these low sweep, anything into 875 down till 770 something would be great buy. Nogafree the other night, not bad. That's good. Are AI coins leading right now? Like RNDR isn't FET. No, even FET is kind of not. Maybe you have some lower entry or something. Uh, Thanks for the MK. You're welcome. Uh, so yeah, that would be it. Probably from my side. Uh, Near looking good. Just don't chase the market right now, please. That's one thing I'd suggest you people. No matter how good the alts look right now, if PTC retraces this move, you are going to get chopped up heavy. If you think anything looks good, buy it on spot. Don't chase the move on leverage in these conditions. That's one of the reasons and one of the strategies I have been following, and have not taken a single stop loss on any leverage trades that we have taken, despite the Friday, Saturday, all the market nukes we have had. Just as long as you are not chasing moves in these conditions, uh, you do pretty well. Just bet the extremes. So, mm, okay. So that's it from my side. Hope you people had a good time. Take care. See you people soon. Allah Hafiz.